All right, Shalom. Giving all praises, all glory, all honors unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Zion from GMS Atlanta with another edifying video. Some news, some prophecy, and headlines. And this first article I have is from Reuters.com. And it says, Big Lots sells business to Nexus Capital as it begins bankruptcy proceedings. So another retailer out of the U.S. is filing for bankruptcy, which a lot of these different stores and companies that are doing this within the last few years are doing this because of low sales. Even Walmart and certain other big box stores are shutting down certain locations because of low sales or theft and crime. So, really the whole brick and mortar era, I mean that by way of saying that these stores that you drive into the parking lot, walk into and physically shop in, they're going out of business or they're filing bankruptcy, or they're just selling off certain stocks and businesses. And it's just showing you that this place, America, is in a downward spiral. Okay? It says U.S. discount home goods retailer Big Lots said on Monday it has secured $707.5 million to support its operations and sell its business to private equity firm Nexus Capital, as it has initiated bankruptcy proceedings under Chapter 11. So they had to sell everything, Now, that's not to say that all Big Lots are closing down, but it's a sign of the times, okay? At one point, you had stores like Big Lots and Dollar Tree and Kmart and certain other smaller stores were a lot more of a staple around the country in different cities and towns. Now, everywhere you go, you're looking for either a Walmart or like a Whole Foods instead of your, or maybe even a Kroger instead of, and Kroger's also the same as Ralph's in on the West Coast, so you can understand. So you'll look for those big stores, a Costco, instead of these smaller, more cheaper shopping businesses. And the reason why you're seeing less and less is because of the state of the economy and low sales. So now they've had to file for Chapter 11. They say they have an asset and liability range of $1 billion to $10 billion. All right, so that's a lot of money to be in. Yeah, it's a lot of money. Let me see here. I just want to get the key points. It says, the Big Lot said its second quarter results are in line with the guidance. The company will release its full second quarter results on September 12th after previously postponing from September 6. Big Lots, a retailer operating about 1,400 stores across the U.S. and employing more than 30,000 workers, has been grappling with declining sales over the past few quarters, putting pressure on its balance sheet. It says, get a look at the day ahead in U.S. and global markets. Okay, so, this is just another store that is basically going out of business, or they have to be bought out by a larger firm to kind of restructure the market, right? Let me see. Declining sales. Okay, so this was a previous article dealing with the same thing. Discount home goods retailer Big Lots is preparing to file bankruptcy as early as this Sunday and plans to sell its chain of stores through a court-supervised process, Bloomberg News reported on Friday, citing people familiar with the situation. Okay, it says its stock, talking about Big Lots, has plunged more than 90% in the past year and dropped more than 22% in extended trading on Friday. So yeah, Big Lots is pretty much done. Okay, so now they got to file for bankruptcy. Okay, so, and the scripture that comes to mind was shut in the streets, which is Ecclesiastes 12. Yep, Ecclesiastes 12:4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets. What doors are usually open in the streets? Business. Okay, so I got a phone call. So now the scripture says, Ecclesiastes 12:4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. The doors that are usually open are businesses and different stores. So with them being shut, that means that business must be doing bad. When the sound of the grinding is low, grinding is comparable to working. So working is low, right? Unemployment is high. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird. Who rises up at the voice of the bird? And what bird? In the past, you had the cock crow or the rooster crowing in the morning. Matter of fact, every morning I get up to go to work, one of the neighbors has a rooster. Okay, and it crows in the backyard, and that's how I know that sunrise is in a few minutes. Okay, so it's speaking about rising up at the cock crow, the rooster crowing, or your alarm clock. Right? It says, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Entertainment and music is a very low state right now. And so this is the state of the American world, the American society that we're living in, right? Here it is, you rise up to go to work, but soon it's going to be you rise up to go to work and there ain't going to be no work to go to. There's a documentary, I'm sorry, not a documentary, a video. YouTube was taking it down, but a couple of people were reposting it. I believe it was entitled How It Will End, or How It Will All End, something to that effect. It's maybe like a 20 to 30 minute video on YouTube, and pretty much it was detailing a point in time, a scenario of how the collapse of the U.S. was going to happen for everyday workers, your 9-to-5ers, so to speak. And so everything that this scripture is showcasing is speaking on, is written about, that's pretty much going to be the way that Americans day to day are going to feel. Verse 5, also when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way. Many fears, you know, people are getting killed and shot in broad daylight and being trafficked under the darkness of night. You can't, send your children to school anymore. Hell, going to work is fruitless, to an extent. So this chapter is speaking on remembering the Creator and remembering the Lord, because the time is coming when society is going to break down. Okay, it says, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden. Right, because if a grasshopper or a locust eats your crops, it's a burden to your farm. That means what? Famine, food shortages, and desire shall fail. So the desire to actually try to make someone of yourself in the society is going to be low, at an all-time low, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. There's going to be a lot of people protesting, rioting, mourning, in the streets. It's what they're doing overseas with all these protests and riots. Heavy taxation. So they're taking it to their leaders and protesting the grievances. All this is happening, right, because of the doors being shut in the streets. All right, so now the next scripture, this is headline, dozens dead after Typhoon Yagi hammers Vietnam, causing floods, landslides. And I believe I spoke on this last week, dealing with a typhoon or a cyclone that was in the Pacific. So this one has struck Vietnam, and then you can see the video here that's just playing. A lot of damage. Okay. It says Typhoon Yagi, Asia's most powerful storm this year, left dozens dead in northern Vietnam and widespread damage to infrastructure and factories as it churned westwards, preliminary government estimates showed on Monday. So this is judgment, more judgment from the Lord. Okay. All right, I did a video last week dealing with the judgment of what happened in the school shooting here in Georgia, and another one that happened Friday in Maryland. I didn't see that being spoken about on the news. And then you got these celebrities that passed. Now, they say death comes in threes. So you had Fat Man Scoop, DJ out of New York, he passed. Then here in Atlanta, you had the local rapper, Rich Homie Quan. He passed, right? They say it was an overdose. And then now, just yesterday, I did a video on it. You just had the famous actor, James Earl Jones, died at 93. So, that's judgment. And some other celebrities died as well, but I know our people, Jake, so-called black Hispanics, Native Americans are familiar with those I just named. And now, as far as the earth bringing destruction, you had this typhoon here in Vietnam. Now it says 49 people have died and 22 are missing, mostly because of landslides and floods triggered by the typhoon, the Vietnamese government said. And you also had major floods in North Korea, and their leader, Kim Jong-un, executed 30 members of his government because of the different thousands that died in the flood. They didn't have nothing to do with that. That was the Lord. That was the Lord bringing judgment. But you got these leaders that think that they're going to be the Most High. Nah. The Lord, the Most High, He maketh alive, and He brings down to the grave. The power is in the hands of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. It says now the typhoon made landfall on Saturday on Vietnam's northeastern coast, home to large manufacturing operations of domestic and foreign companies. So a lot of businesses are losing money. It was downgraded to a tropical depression on Sunday, but the meteorological agency warned on Monday of further floods and landslides. Yeah, so the judgment is done. The damage is already done. Okay, now another scripture that comes to mind with that is, let's go to Isaiah 29. Isaiah 29:6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahweh of armies, of hosts, with thunder and with earthquake and great noise. We know about the different storms and earthquakes, but it says with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. So that was a strong storm and tempest that swept through Vietnam, right? A typhoon, okay? Also known in the scriptures as a whirlwind. And now you're going to have the after effects of that, which are floods, mudslides, possibly major sinkholes, and that's going to do even more damage to the land over there. So this is all judgment from the Lord. Okay. Now the next article, right, is more storms. So this would be a land back off of the last article, the last scripture dealing with storms. And by the way, land back, the IUIC members using land back. It was GMS says that. GMS says land back. I've even heard certain people in the world say that. Because all these people, they watch the different Israelite videos. And they watch GMS too. Right? And we come up with all the terms, that whole trend of wearing stones and that whole spirit of wearing stones and bracelets and copper. That was a big thing at GMS. No other camp was really wearing stones like that. The precious or the semi-precious stones. The tourmaline and the quartz and the amethyst and the different copper bracelets. That was like a big trend in GMS for a while. Brothers still wear it, Anyway, so this is a land back, right? Not piggyback, but land back, because we don't eat pork. We're going to land back off of the last scripture, the last article from weather.com. It says, Francine intensifying in the Gulf. Hurricane storm surge warnings issued. So this is just a video. Okay, I thought it was a little bit more when I clicked on the article. So there's a Hurricane Francine that's emerging out of the Gulf. I'm not going to play the video, but this is another major storm that's forming. You just had one hurricane that came out of the Atlantic that struck Florida and southeastern Georgia on up the coast. That brought a couple rains. That brought that cold front a few weeks back. So now you have another one, Francine, forming in the Gulf. So this one could possibly bring some damage, to that region. Okay? But we'll see. It's being tracked right now. And I'm going to end it off here. So, I hope this is edifying, just a couple of news articles, a couple of scriptures that tie in to certain prophecies and certain things happening through the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So with that, I say Shalom.